Let's touch a little bit. You mentioned that painting or drawing that you committed to 1 hour a day started well, and then after you came back from Montana, it felt a little bit like forcing it, a little bit like a chore, if I get the vibe of what you said.
Um, I think it felt like a chore, not like a chore, but it was difficult from the get-go to commit to the hour. But once I came back from Montana, I just stopped for a couple days
Okay.
before picking it back up.
So, in many cases, we attach to an activity or a thing that we desire or we wish for. It can be an activity, it can be a place, it can be something other that's material, a car, a company of somebody, the presence of somebody, whatever. We assign the value mistakenly, because what we are really looking for is the feeling that in our psyche is attached to this activity from the past. So there is some longing, right? I want to feel in a certain way because I know in the past when I engaged in that activity, that's what it made me feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not living in the past. And that memory may be rooted in events that took place a couple of decades ago. So what I ask you is to kind of tune in and ask yourself, what is it really that I'm looking for in this activity, in the drawing activity?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think what I'm looking for is a feeling. Trying to think of how it felt back then. I felt, I don't know, fulfilled, maybe. I felt like I was growing when I was doing it. I also get this feeling that, like, when I used to do it, the world was just, I don't know, brighter, literally.
Any chance when you were doing it in the past you felt in your flow?
Oh, yeah.
The day-to-day pain, worry, sense of not belonging, sense of rejection, shame, all tuned out.
Yes.
And momentarily forget about them.
Yes.
And not surprisingly, it became harder when you came back from Montana. Now let's try and connect the dots. What do you really think happened in this your last visit to Montana, back home?
I think it's best described as the ending of a chapter in my life. A saying goodbye, finally, that maybe I wasn't willing to say. I think a lot of the times I've tried to recapture how it felt being there, but not in a productive or healthy way. I mean, like, I would just do the same things that I'd done before, even if it didn't make me feel any different. And this time I just was there and just paid attention to, like, this is where I grew up, and that's great, but if I was to come back here, I wouldn't be growing. That time has passed.
So can you define the chapter that you feel is concluded?
I think it's a chapter of nostalgia for that place.
What other words come up? Or what emotions come up?
Kind of a hollowness in the heart, I think. Kind of an emptiness in the stomach. It's like that's gone, but now what? Sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird to be feeling this and also being surrounded by people I loved. That was strange because it was
Why?
like, because I love my family, but like, you know,
Maybe because you still associate those attributes that you mentioned earlier to their presence.
Mm.
They were there when you were young.
Yeah.
But you're grown up now.
Yeah.
You're not the boy that needs the cocooning of the family necessarily. Right?
Yeah.
So now there is a separation between your love for them, which is great. There's no need to let go of that. But you need to grow and to evolve in their presence, the protective element of their presence, and generally their presence. You can grow and love them without their presence in moment by moment. Right? Make sense?
Yes.
Feel like it resonates?
It definitely resonates.
Okay. So see if you can describe in your own words now, with this realization, what you think transpired really in your last visit back home in Montana.
I think that maybe it's not home anymore. And by that I mean it's like, it's time to make my own home. I can only say that the feeling going back was, I just noticed that I didn't have a longing to stay longer, or the longing was not there.
Which before it was.
It was.
How do you feel about that?
It's kind of sad.
Okay. There's a closure of a chapter that's a big part of you.
Yeah.
Right? It's not trivial. It's okay to be sad.
Yeah.
Any other emotions that intertwined?
That seems to be the big one.
Spoke about kind of the emptiness, more space, a void. Can you tune into that?
Yeah. I think that experience was just a letting go. I think I was clinging to what once was home, just because it was familiar, and it was, even if I wasn't growing, it was like at least comfortable. Like I knew what was there, but having let it go, it's not really in my heart or in my head anymore. Just the emotion that comes up with that place, it's just not there.
Why is it not there anymore?
I'm not sure.
Want to take a guess? Try and feel it.
I mean, what's coming to me is just the fact that it's not home.
Okay, can you define home?
I hate that it's a cliche, but it's not where my heart is. It should be where my heart is. I don't think my heart's stuck there anymore.
What does it mean where my heart is? It's a common saying, but what does
Yeah.
it really mean?
I don't know. I feel like it should be a place where I feel like myself. I feel like it's my domain where I feel like expanded and full and like present. And I feel like it should be a place that like I am I'm myself, and the place is a reflection of that.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So now that you recognize that, what do you think really happened? The place stayed the same. When was the last time before this one that you were there? The holidays?
No, I want to say this summer, last summer.
Okay, so last summer, so about 9 months.
Yeah.
So 9 months ago, you were there, had one feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You came back with a certain feeling. This time around, you went there, completely different experience that you never had before. Versus the previous time, it was kind of a repetition of all the preceding visits.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
I changed.
Oh. And what do you attribute this change to?
You, my heart. It's a change of heart, I suppose.
Well, I changed, but my change does not reflect on you.
Oh, well, not your change.
So you can't attribute it to me. We know each other for about 2 years, right? Give or take. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
2 to 3 years. And you knew you have this option of doing this process. And I saw your interest, but you weren't willing to commit. And then at some point, all of a sudden you were willing. And once you started the process, all of a sudden things starts to change. Right?
Mm.
And that was a big surprise to you how it changed. Right? The big change is how you started looking at yourself. You shifted from this is how life is to I want to structure it in a certain way, and I'm willing to put in the effort to get my life to, not sure what it is, but something that's more to my liking. And that decision, and that's really what happened in our first session, you started looking at yourself differently. But it fell on the backdrop of your decision to be willing to look at yourself differently. See?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the tipping point. I'm willing to explore who am I truly. I'm willing to give myself a real chance to structure life the way I want to feel in it, not how it kind of turned out. Right? So that's kind of the beginning of the avalanche. And as a result of that, all kinds of things from your past starts to fall off, because all of a sudden you realize they don't carry the value that you've been historically attributing to them. They did in the past, but you change and you evolve, and you evolve to the point that they just don't. Nothing bad about them. Still love the place, and I'm sure we'll be happy to continue visiting there, but you don't expect it to give you the experience that it gave you when you were 10 or when you were 16. See?
Yeah.
And that change in your attitude also means that you're now really taking your life in your own hands. You're going to steer your life forward. You're not expecting external forces to make you feel in a certain way. The place or the activity, like the drawing, right? This expectation all of a sudden stares you in your face, and it's just not happening. I remember it used to do it, but it just doesn't do it. the drawing stayed the same, and you can still enjoy it immensely. But you realize that the feeling that it gave you, you control, and it's a much deeper process than when you were engaging it when you were a teen or in your early 20s. Right? What changes your understanding of yourself and your ability to admit your true emotions and not latch it on some activity, some external activity or something external. That's the difference. Now it's also scary because you're venturing into the unknown. You don't know how it's going to look moving forward. Nobody guarantees you anything. There's no clear roadmap. I'm going to do this and that, and I'm going to get to this and that feeling. You know the saying, trust the process?
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's needed most. But there's a reason why people say, trust the process. It works. Mm-hmm. You don't need to know to be okay. Right?
Right.
Make sense?
It makes sense.
Awesome.